Before the Grammy, before the sold out arena, before the tour bus and the backstage parties, and the encore that goes 3 songs longer than it was supposed to, there was a garage. A practice amp with a busted speaker, a secondhand guitar with 2 strings that wouldn't stay in tune, and a notebook full of chord progressions that nobody had ever heard of. And there was a person sitting in that garage and they were asking themselves, is this shit actually going to work? I want to tell you that every single rock star who ever filled an arena, that's where they started. In the dark, before anybody was watching, and so did every great real estate agent. Today we're going back to the very beginning. We're going to call this stage 1 of the roadmap. This is before the spotlight, and it's the most overlooked, most misunderstood, most underestimated stage of the entire real estate business. So I want you to stay with me. Welcome to the RockStar Real Estate Roadmap Podcast. Say that several times. This is a podcast for real estate agents who want more than just survival, more than just production numbers. We want to be a show about the journey. My name is Rick Raanes. I'm a 22-year agent. I've been a top 2% producer. I'm founder of the Texas RockStar Group. We're here in the Woodlands, Texas. And every single week on this show, I want to share real stories, real agent journeys, and the framework that I plan on calling this my roadmap. And there's 6 stages every agent goes through, and that's from getting your license, which is stage 1, to leaving a legacy, which is stage 6. Can you dig it? Let's get into it. All right, so this is episode 5, and we are officially kicking off the roadmap framework. There's 6 stages. This is one journey that I believe every agent in this industry moves through. Some of you move fast, some move slow, some get stuck, and some skip stages, and I guarantee you they pay for it later. So anyway, this is going to be the map, and today, stage 1, I'm going to call this before the spotlight. So stage 1 covers 2 things, 2 distinct moves that new agents have to make, and most of them get at least one of them wrong. So I want to move to number 1, and that's called getting licensed. Move number 2 is building your first momentum before you even have a track record. So let's start with the license. Now I know what you're thinking, hey Rick, everybody knows how to get a real estate license. You take the class, you pass the exam, you get your card, and what's there to talk about? Well, I want to let you know there's everything to talk about. It's amazing how many people skip this without the intention. Because here's what nobody tells you. The way you approach your licensing stage is a preview of the agent that you're going to become. The discipline you bring to studying for that exam and the questions that you ask and the effort that you invest before you even made a single dollar, it's a direct indicator of your ceiling in this business. And most people treat the licensing stage like a checkbox, like something, I just got to get through this. I don't really care how long it takes. I just need to get through it. They cram everything into a short period of time. They pass a test. They move on to the next class. And then they wonder why they feel unprepared when a real client shows up. This happens all the time. I'm dealing it with a brand new agent right now who has no earthly idea how to write a listing agreement. But see, here's the deal. The agents who win in stage 1, they treat the classwork, getting the license, like a foundation. While you're in class, they learn the contracts before they ever have to use them. They study the market like they have a listing, and they prepare for the fact that when they have a listing, they know what to do. They ask questions, whether it's from other agents, whether it's from the teachers at the coursework or the classes where they're taking them, and then they may even ask this of other brokers that they're interviewing. And they do all this when they don't even have a deal in front of them. Those are the agents that become super, super successful. The garage band that makes it doesn't just learn the 3 chords they need for the first gig. They learn music, and they practice until their fingers bleed, because they know that what you build before anybody's watching is exactly what shows up when the spotlight hits you. Think about that for a minute. What you're doing before is what's going to show up. And the last thing you want to show up is being somebody that doesn't really know what's going on. So always be prepared. Now, next up is got to choose a brokerage. And this might be the single most important decision you make in stage 1. And nobody really treats it seriously enough, because I see new agents choosing their brokerage based almost entirely on commission splits. And look, I get it. You're about to start a business. You don't have any income, and the math matters, and I get it. Most people are broke when they're starting the business, and so the first question is, what are your splits? Commission splits are irrelevant if you don't learn how to close deals. And you're not going to learn how to close deals in a vacuum. You need mentorship, you need culture, and you need a place that actually teaches you how to be an agent, not just how to generate a paycheck. And hear me when I say this. Culture eats commission splits for breakfast. And I want you to write that down because this is something you'll need to know for a long time. Culture eats commission splits for breakfast. When you're interviewing brokerages, yes, you should be interviewing them, not the other way around. I want you to ask one question. What does your onboarding actually look like? Because it's not about the marketing, because that's just fluff. And every brokerage has a recruiting pitch that they're the best. But what you want to do is ask them, what happens in your first 30, 60, 90 days? Who can I call when a deal falls apart? Who's going to sit across the table from me and help me figure out what I'm doing wrong? Because if you're building that foundation, there's a high probability you're doing more right than wrong. And if they can't answer the onboarding question with a lot of clarity, I want you to get up from the interview, shake their hands, say thank you, and walk out the door. Because at this point in time, you're not choosing a paycheck. That'll come later. Right now, you're choosing a mentor environment. And in stage one, mentorship is super, super important. All the training that you've done in preparation for getting your license, you shouldn't forget it. I mean, that's the business side of it all. The best part of the education side is preparing yourself for the actual activities. And I remember sitting in my car outside my first brokerage, which was Prudential. It was the first day that I was starting in the business, and I had that moment, is this shit really going to work? Because I really had no idea what I was doing. I thought I did. I passed the exam, but yet I had no clue how to actually help someone buy or sell a house, because I hadn't taken an individual to go see properties. I hadn't actually listed a property. And so I felt like the best thing for me to do was to go through a dress rehearsal run. So I started calling people, asking them if they would go with me to go tour properties. I called my friends and said, hey, could we pretend that we're going to list your house? I need to practice on my listing agreements. You'd be surprised the number of people that would help you. So if you're sitting on your license right now and you're wondering what to do next and you're feeling like the only one who's unsure, I want you to hear me when I say this. You're not alone. You're just exactly where you're supposed to be, and that's okay. Stage one is supposed to feel like this. The question is what are you going to do with that feeling? So here's what I want you to do. You got your license, you've picked a brokerage, and then you're going, well, what's next? And this is where move number 2 begins, because this is where we're going to build momentum. And you have to build momentum before you have a track record. And this is where most new agents go completely wrong. And here's the mistake, is that they wait. They wait. And they wait. They set up their MLS. They design their business cards. They spend 3 weeks perfecting their Instagram bio. And they wait for something to happen. They wait for that phone to ring, for someone to reach out and say, hey, I'm ready. But guess what? The phone doesn't ring. The phone doesn't ring in stage one. You have to reach out. You've got to make those phone calls. So here's what I want every brand new agent who's in stage one. I want you to understand this. You don't build leads in stage one. You remind people that you exist. Leads will come in and slowly, but you have to remind people that you actually exist. And your natural network is the best place for it. What's my natural network, Rick? Well, it's your friends, your family, your old coworkers, your neighbors, the people you went to high school with, the people from your gym. And quite frankly, everybody that's in your phone is somebody that you need to be reaching out to. And there's probably a way that you could take that data from your phone and put it on a list and print it out so that you can actually scratch a line through it. You need to know exactly who you're calling. So just like getting started at that garage band, what you're doing now is asking people to come to your first show. And you got to get them to the first show so that you can get to the theater, and that's what's going to lead to the big arenas. But here's the thing about a band's first show at that small club is that they don't hide it. You can imagine they tell everybody. They post it everywhere. They tape it to the telephone poles. They call everybody. They're texting people, "Hey, you have to come and see me. You got to come see me." And they never apologize for their first show. It's just their first show. "Hey, you got to come see me. You got to come see me." So here's what I want you to do. I want to give you a challenge, and I'll call it the Tell 100 People Challenge. And before this week is over, or if you need into the next week, I want you to personally reach out to 100 people in your life. You can text them, you can call them, send them a direct message, whatever. But you want to get them on the phone, and you want to tell them you're a licensed real estate agent. Because I don't want you to send out a big email that blasts everybody, "Hey, guess what? I've changed careers. I'm doing something a little bit different." You got to call them and talk to them. You got to call them and tell them you're now in the business and you need to do this one by one. And if you've been in the business for a while and nothing seems to be happening because you're waiting and you're perfecting your bio on Instagram or you're perfecting a few Facebook posts, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to tell 100 people that you're a real estate agent. Even if they already know, tell them anyway. You're not asking for business during this first 100 people call. What you're doing is you're announcing your arrival, and that's what you intend to do full time, is be a real estate agent. Don't pitch them. Just say, "Hey, listen, I'm a real estate agent. I want to learn a little bit. I want to learn a little bit about you, and I want to learn a bit about what your plans are, and here's what I can do to potentially help you." Because here's what I've learned after 22 years. People buy from agents that they know. There's going to be the fringe ones that's just going to go out and do an open house and they'll buy from the agent that's there, and that happens. But the majority of your business is going to come from people that already know you and they love you and trust you. And they've got to know that you're a real estate agent. And if they don't know, you have to tell them. So here's the script that I want you to kind of think about. This is a perfect script, and it's why I drive a Ford. I want you to ask them about their family. I want you to ask them about their job. I want you to ask them what they've been doing for fun, and I want them to describe their dream home. Ask them if they're currently living in their dream home. If not, ask them about the experience of buying or renting their current home. Did they like the process? Did they like the agent? Who was the agent? I bet you they don't even remember. See, this is your opportunity to ask them if you can interview for the job when the time comes up for them to make their next real estate move. It's a cool conversation to have. And the second thing I want you to do in stage one is learn your market the way a guitar player learns the fretboard. Not by looking it up every time, but by feel. And there's a way that you can do this by feel. You know what separates the agents who seem like they know everything about the market from the ones who have to look it up? You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones who always seem to know. And it's because they've previewed hundreds of homes. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes. They've walked through neighborhoods at every price point. They've sat in open houses that weren't theirs. They've read contracts until they could write them from memory. And they built this knowledge before anybody was paying them for it. Did you hear that? They built that knowledge before anybody was paying them for it. And here's your stage one habit, and this has got to be non-negotiable. I want you to preview a minimum of 2 homes per week in your target market every single week. Not open houses. I'm talking about actually scheduling and a preview. Go into the home using your key box, open the door, walk through the house, take notes, learn what a house at $350,000 feels like versus a $400,000 home. Learn what bad staging looks like. Learn what overpriced looks like the second you walk in the door. Your future clients are going to trust you with the biggest financial decision of their lives. And that trust has to be earned. And when you start earning it in stage one, when nobody's watching, I promise you, they're going to be a client for life. Next up, I want to talk about the trap, because there is a trap in stage one, and it gets a lot of agents. It gets a lot of great agents, and agents who had everything it took to make it, and it got them too. And the trap looks like this. Agents mistake slow for wrong. Stage one is slow. It's supposed to be slow. You're learning, you're building, you're practicing. You're not supposed to be closing 10 deals a month. You're supposed to be learning how to close one. But when the weeks go by and the phone's not ringing and the bills are still coming and your friends are asking how the real estate thing is going, that slow can start to feel like it's all wrong. It can start to feel like you made a mistake, like maybe this career isn't for you. And guess what? That little voice you have to fight, it reminds you every single day, it's slow. What are you going to do? The garage band doesn't sound like the arena show yet. And that's not a sign to quit. That's a sign that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And here's the thing that I've seen that separates the agents who make it through stage one from the ones who don't, is the ones who make it treat this like a job, even when it doesn't pay like one. They continue to show up every single day. They make calls, they preview homes, they study the market, they build the habits, not because they're already getting paid for them, because they know that that's where the paycheck is going to come from. It's called discipline in the dark, and that's stage one. So what I want to do now is I want to tell you about a moment, and this was a really interesting moment. Every agent has one. It's different for everybody. It's a different house, a different client, different city, but it's the same moment. And guess what moment that is? It's the moment when you close your first deal. And my first deal was in the spring of 2005, so over 21 years ago, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. I got a referral from a friend of mine. It was a coworker, and he told me that he was looking to get out of the rental market and buy his first property. So what was really cool about this is we start looking at different homes, and we went through the mortgage approval process, and we looked at several of them, and finally one day while I was out previewing for some properties, I found the property that I thought would fit him perfectly. And it was in an area that really wasn't quite the circle that we were originally looking in. But they came out and they looked at it and they loved it. It fit. They had a big family, and so they bought the house. It was $154,000, and I remember after it was all said and done, my paycheck was $2,700. The commission on that check was $5,400. And I had to split that with Prudential because that was my split at the time, was 50-50. So $2,700 is what I earned from that deal. And I remember it like it was yesterday, and that guy's still a good friend of mine, and I appreciate the referrals that he's given me through the years. And when you do it right, referrals have a tendency to become your main focus of your business. But here's what that moment taught me that no real estate class ever could. It taught me that I could actually do this. And it's not in theory that I could do it, but in real life with a real client in a real transaction. And it taught me that all that work that I did, the studying, the previews, the phone calls, the showing up before I got paid for it, because remember, I got licensed in October and my first transaction was in March. That work was the reason that deal happened. That client didn't go hire a brand. They didn't go look to Prudential. They didn't hire a track record because that was the first deal they ever did. They hired a person who knew what they were talking about, who gave a damn about getting them into the right house. And your first deal is not a paycheck. Your first deal is just the proof of concept. It's proof that the work you're doing in the garage, the quiet, the unglamorous, the no audience work, it works. It matters, and it's building something real. And that's what stage one gives you, not fame, not income, the proof. And remember, as always, the proof is in the pudding. So let's land this bitch right now. So, all right, stage one. Before the spotlight, you've got two moves. First, number one, you get licensed with intention. You choose your brokerage based on mentorship and culture, not just splits. And second, build early momentum deliberately. Tell your network, learn your market, show up every day like you're already getting paid for it. Because the garage is not a punishment. The garage is the preparation. And I want to give you one action to take this week, just one. Pull out your phone right now. And while you're listening to this, open up your contacts, and I want you to write down 10 names. These are the first 10 people that in your life who don't know you're in real estate. And before this week is over, I want you to call every single one of them. I want you to call. I want you to tell them what you do, tell them you're building something, and let them know that when they're ready, you're their agent. And that's how the stage begins. It's not a viral post because you're not going to create virality right on the very first one. You can run paid ads, but that's super expensive and most of you are broke. But this is with a phone call to someone who already knows you. So next week we're going to move into stage two, and we're going to call that the first set. You got your license, you got a little momentum, and you've got a real client, and you're hoping for more to show up. Most agents aren't ready for what it actually feels like. So we're going to talk what stage 2 feels like and why this is an important part. And if this episode is something that you found interesting, please share it and send it to a new agent in your office who's sitting on their license right now wondering what to do next, because this is something that they may this is an episode they may need. And remember, my name is Rick Raanes, and this is the RockStar Real Estate Roadmap Podcast, and let's go build something together. Take care.